Hey there, welcome. Today we are going to make some quick and easy bookmarks. This is a great way to add inventory to your booth fairs and stalls or your craft tables if you're selling at your local church or event. And it's really reasonable. It's a quick, easy gift for someone to pick up. And it's also very easy for you to make. So typically when I make bookmarks, I take copper and hammer it down to the shape and then punch a hole or make a loop and then do the dangle. But this time, just to make it quicker and easier, you can buy packs of these copper toned metal bookmarks. And then all you have to do is create dangles to put on the end here. And so here I have two styles, and one's a zigzag style, one's a straight cut style. And then I have these charms that I got from a local store when I was just buying some old jewelry, and this was in those bags that I will not be using for jewelry. So I thought this might be a great way to use it up and repurpose it for bookmarks. Also, a great way to use up beads from your bead soups. I have two bead soups here that over time I've collected, and I tried to keep them as the cool colors and the warm colors, but you can see there's some mix of cool colors in here too. But this is a great use of those bead soups as well. In addition to these materials, you will also need some wire to make your dangles. I'm using this tarnish resistant antique copper wire and then string on beads, or if I'm doing the dangles, I would make a wrapped loop with these charms hanging off the end. I'm just going to move everything aside a little bit so that we can start creating. Tools you will need: a ruler, a flush cutter, a bent nose or chain nose pliers, needle nose or chain nose pliers, so you need 2 pairs of pliers, a round nose or a 6-step bail making plier. I like the 6-step looping pliers because then my loops are more consistent. And last but not the least, a metal or jeweler's file. For the first method of using a charm, I'm going to use this lobster claw. And, well, it's a lobster with claws. And then I'm going to pick out a couple of blue beads just to keep with that ocean theme. And you can do different shapes and sizes and whatever speaks to you from your bead soup. I'm just pulling out a few, and then we'll make our final selection when we are putting it together. And that's a good start. So to first make the wrapped loop, to attach this at the bottom, I'm going to use the smallest step on my looping pliers, and about 1/2 inch from the end, I'm going to make a loop and then slide on the charm, and that'll hang off the end like that. And then I'm going to hold that loop and then wrap the shorter wire along the longer length 2 to 3 times. In this case, because it's short enough, 3 wraps works. Otherwise, I would cut it. Here, I tuck it in. There's the charm. I will string on some of the beads. Okay. Oh, maybe use the wavy one. That looks like a wave. That'll dangle from there. So this model does come with these jump rings, but I'm going to take that jump ring off because I'm wrapping this wire and I can wrap it directly. And I'm going to use the second step of my pliers. So around the first step, I'm going to bend the wire, make a loop around the second step. So that is centering the loop. And that's what I call the lollipop loops. And then slide on slide it onto the bookmark. And now we're going to wrap that shut again a few times. Oh, and I find for these finer pieces of where I'm trying to tuck in wire, I use my needle nose pliers. That way I can get into the small spaces. And there, we have one bookmark. That was so fast, less than 5 minutes to make it, maybe even 3 minutes. And you have a fun bookmark to sell. So we have one done, and we're going to make a couple more. And I'm just going to play some music at this point. So enjoy that. And we're going to make the rest of these together. And then here I have a leprechaun. And so here's the green leaf clover in the hand. And so I'm going to look for some green beads from the bead soup. Now with this one, since there's a clear front and a back to the leprechaun, I want to make sure that I turn the wire around to have the leprechaun facing outward. There. And now let's do one if you don't have charms to dangle off the end. And so for that one, I'm going to use the same 22 gauge wire, and I'm going to make 3 coils on one end. And on the third coil, I'm going to cross the wire over and pass it through the other end and pull that through. And that's going to lock into a knot and make that a neat headband for us to use. And now, since we've done a lot of blues and greens, let's do some warmer colors. So I'm going to pick a few here. I'm getting some cubes on. We will keep it with the cubes and just alternate the red, yellow cubes. Maybe here add another red. Okay. And then we're going to make that same loop on the top, but this time I'm going to leave a little more place because we're going to do some wrap along the beads. Just add a little more pizzazz to it. I'm going to make the loop, get it onto the bookmark, and then again hold the loop and make 3 wrapped loops here. And now I'm going to slide the first bead up against those loops and then cross over with the wire and wrap under the bead like that. And then do that with the second one, and then do that with the third. And then you could end right there, or you could wrap your way back up, is what I'm going to do, so that there's a wrap on the other side as well. I'm going to wrap up the back of that cube. Then wrap up the round bead on the top and wrap that a couple more times before I snip it off and tuck it in. Straighten that. So there we have a wrapped stacked bead dangle. So here we made a few of these together, and then these are a few more that I put together. These were just some July 4th blue and red beads with some stars. And then here I had a couple of these very pretty baby blue glass flowers with a pearl, and I've used a balled headpin to make those. And then these are again some quick and easy headpin beads that I just put together. Well, I hope you enjoyed that video. If you liked it, please like, share, and subscribe, and I will see you in the next one. Have a beautiful day.